Well, hey, man. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Alicia? What's up in Aries? How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great on this Good Friday here, honey. We are definitely about to hop into the Real Housewives of Orange County review. And then after that, I'm going to do a review on Sunset. I'm sorry, not Sunset, but Selling Tampa. That's what I'm gonna do because I did get a chance to watch that on Netflix. It's pretty good. I like it, so we're definitely gonna talk about that. But let's go ahead and hop right on into Real Housewives Orange County. So we have Shannon and Noella. Shannon is deciding to get her face fixed after she ended up getting some fillers a while back, and then she said that she felt like she looked unrecognizable. I have to agree with that. I mean, maybe it's because Shannon has put on weight in comparison to what she looked like in the past. I was like, she looks different. She don't look as bad as a Larsa Pippen look over there on Real Housewives of Miami, but she definitely looks a bit different. What's going on, Brittany? What's up, Vanessa? What's going on, y'all? What did we learn about Noella during this time when she had to sit down with Shannon? We learned that she's been through IVF. She suffered a miscarriage before, and then they had a child by way of surrogate. And then it seems like she said that they suffered a miscarriage of twins by way of a surrogate. So that was really tough to hear, as well as hearing the fact that her child is autistic, and she just found that stuff out. I guess it was like last year or something, or it could have been this year. She said it was sometime around the summer. What's going on, Student Life and Lisa Lee? What's up, you guys? Okay, so this is what we also learned about Noella. Noella brings up the fact that her husband has been going through some financial issues, okay? With him going through these financial issues, she thinks that she's helping him out by saying, hey, you know, we have this house over here in Puerto Rico, this house over here in Puerto Rico. If we sell it, it'll, you know, take care of all of your financial issues that you got going on, right? The husband not necessarily trying to, you know, hear that, but what we hear is that he has 2 liens on a home that's totaling $6 million. It sounds like that's what she said. 2 liens on a home. Like, what the hell your husband had been out here doing, running amok in the palace? So basically, their marriage is definitely going through it at this time. So we're going to see if they're going to survive. We don't know. Shannon brings up the party because y'all know she's not going to let that go. She still feels hurt. She's, you know, upset with the way Gina and Emily ended up doing her as far as, you know, telling the information that she did not want them to tell to Miss Heather. So she's mad. She says that, you know, speaking on a lack of trust, she felt like she thought she had a bond with Emily and Gina, only to find out that she never had that bond at all. So Noella says when she asked, I believe she asked about like Nicole or whatever. And I'm trying to, what did I have here for, I think she said that Nicole always said something like positive about her for the most part. So I don't think she said anything negative about Shannon. She probably was a little hurt by the situation, but it's still all good. Seems like these husbands let them come on the show knowing they are divorcing. Her husband seems cold-blooded, like he is. That's just messed up. You know, when you get ready to come on this show, a lot of stuff about your relationship ends up, you know, coming out. But I think their relationship was already a bit shaky. On top of the financial issues, which is probably another reason why he divorced her, because with him having these financial issues and her being on this show and they're exposing his financial issues, he's probably like, oh, girl, the more I'm with you, the more they're probably going to be exposing about me. And I don't, we're not going to do that. So I feel like her getting on this show probably expedited that divorce between them. And I also wonder if he told her that she should never do the show anyway. And she just decided to do it. I wonder what's going on. Just simply, what's up? So what else? Yeah, Noella said that Nicole only says positive things about Shannon, okay? And Shannon was like, well, what did she say about me after? I know those were things that she said about me in the beginning, but what are some of the things she's saying about me now? And Noella tells her, well, girl, you just gonna have to speak to her. Okay, I can't tell you what the girl said about you, honey. You're gonna have to go on over there, scoot over there to where she at, and she'll tell you what's going on. So Gina and her boyfriend, okay? She tells her boyfriend, Travis, about Noella and how she feels that Noella may have a crush on her. She seemed like she was a bit excited about it. Her man was like, so you feel comfortable telling me this? She was like, no. She seemed like she was excited to have Noella have a crush on her. Gina says that she's at a place where she's ready to be engaged because she's tired of being a girlfriend because she's grown and she got a lot of kids. Okay. He feels like they still have time and he's content. Now, I don't like that part. I don't like that part of him being content and just feeling like, oh, we good with where we at. I don't like that. It made me feel like you're gonna try and keep her in just a girlfriend situation for a very long time. She tells him about Shannon and how Shannon tries to control everything, and she doesn't like when Shannon does that. She says that she does feel bad for her though, but based on how she's, based on how that she's been to her in the past, like, how she's kind of been there for her, she felt bad for her, but ultimately she still feel like it ain't her fault, it's Shannon's fault. Gina, she started to cry and said she didn't like how Shannon was acting and how it made her feel like it was messing with her integrity. I guess to call her like a liar or messy or whatever. But I just felt like, Gina, I think you did participate in the madness though. So I feel like, yeah, as much as it's all on Shannon, I feel like some of it is on you as well. I do understand why you told Heather, because you didn't want Heather to look like a fool, right? But at the same time, you could have pulled Heather to the side and not at her party and had a conversation with her at a later time. So you definitely participated in the mess, girl. So when it gets to Heather, Heather goes to see her husband. And what I like about Heather and her husband, they come off like they are really best friends after all of these years. And I love that. The fact that she just popped in his office to really have some girl chat for real with her husband. I love that. I was like, oh, I like them, honey. So Nicole called, she said that Nicole called her on the way to seeing her husband, and she was all apologetic. She was upset about crying and everything and how her party turned out. She felt like the party was ruined. So Nicole was apologizing for that, and Heather tells her, no, I feel like you and I both are the victim. What's up, Sam? What's going on? Yeah, so she felt like both of them were the victims, so she shouldn't be mad about too much or nothing. So then Heather responded and told her she isn't interested. Okay, so Shannon sent Heather a message saying, hey, I want to sit down. I want to have a talk with you. I'm really sorry about whatever happened. But actually, there was not an apology that was listed. She really just wanted to have a link up with Shannon so they could sort everything out. But Shannon responded back to her and said, I'm not really interested. But what was so funny to me was when Shannon was reading her response, every time her husband tried to chime in, she kept reading because the message was just that much longer. I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. Terry and Heather cracked me up. Terry is a little shady too. I can believe that. I like them. Shannon messaged her back as soon as Heather responded. And Shannon says that, my apology was genuine. But Heather felt like, girl, what you mean your apology was genuine when you never even apologized? Like, why? We're not going to play these games, right? So Heather feels that Shannon never liked her, and she doesn't like to get her hands dirty, and she doesn't like to accept fault, right? I'm willing to believe that a bit. I'm willing to believe that because I feel like on Shannon's side, I understand that you gave some information to Shannon and to Emily and Gina, but you also know them for their works too. So you have to accept your responsibility in it because had you never said anything, it would have been nothing for them to talk about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Gina and Noella link up. So they hanging out or whatever. Gina asked about the article speaking on Noella's husband. She wasn't sure if she wanted to talk about it, but Noella said, yeah, I don't mind. I'll tell you about it. Leslie says, Heather didn't give Shannon a sit down before the season when she knows Shannon more. She could have. Okay, so Noella and Gina. Noella wants to sell the property to, settle the financial issues that they are having. But her husband is not sold on that. She says that he is her best friend, and she wants him to know that she isn't trying to fight him on this, but she's trying to help him. But it's hard, and right now they're not okay. Then she goes on to kind of talk about how she ended up sleeping in the sex dungeon room because she was up there crying and she was so hurt and all this other stuff. So she went to the sex dungeon room to go take a nap or whatever. And I was like, okay, then, girl, that was a sex dungeon closet because that's not a room. But all right. So we get to Shannon, Nicole, and Noella. Okay. So Nicole arrives and she arrives and she starts talking to Noella first because Noella was there. Nicole asked about Noella's husband. Noella really don't want to talk about it because it's a sore spot for her. Noella says that Nicole, since she didn't want to talk about it, Nicole started to bring up her own situation and starts talking about how her and her husband are getting a divorce. But Noella was quick to jump to the fact of, girl, less than I and say we did. Me and my husband not getting a divorce though. Okay, that's not something that even came into play for us. Okay, so don't put that out over here. So Shannon finally arrives and she tells Nicole that she was sorry for all of the melee that took place at Heather's house. And then Shannon, when Shannon was talking to Heather, I mean, not to Heather, but when she was talking to Nicole, I felt like Shannon was like being fake in that moment, because she said something like, well, I just went to Heather and I asked Heather if you were Nicole East. And then I looked on your social media and I said, oh, no, that wasn't her. And I'm like, Shannon, why are you sitting up here lying? Well, you already pretty much knew that was her, especially when you found out that it was her. Like, I'm confused, but okay. She says that she felt like Heather wouldn't be friends with her. Like, if that was the case, like she wouldn't be friends with her. And I'm like, what are you saying here, Shannon? Something's not adding up. Takesha says she acted like she was surprised. We could have seen that coming in the dark of night. Which part of being surprised? You talking about who you speaking on, Takesha? Who we were surprised about? Which one? Which part? What else? So Nicole says it's never okay to discuss anybody's medical history. And Nicole says that she felt like she was attacked. I mean, in a way, she kind of was. You know what I'm saying? The way the ladies came at her, right? But it's also, I feel like, a deflection from the fact that you've been friends with this lady for this long and you didn't even tell her that information. So when somebody's calling you out on your stuff, okay, you want to flip it and be like, oh, I feel like I'm being attacked. Okay, so I guess. So Shannon first says that she trusted those ladies and didn't expect them to say anything, but she will accept the blame for it. Okay, now Nicole believes she was sincere in what she said and she accepts her apology. Shannon tells them that Heather has no interest in talking to her because she's reached out and that's dead. Okay, so Noella and the divorce. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Noella in that divorce crying with no tears. Yikes, honey. We should have known something was coming down the pipeline with Miss Noella, honey. So Noella and actually, I saw some pictures of her husband. At first, I thought her husband was like mixed or something, like, with black or whatever. But I think this is a full-out white man. But okay. Right. She should have told Heather. If you had an issue, you should have went directly to Heather and had this conversation with her first. Absolutely. So then Noella and Shannon. So Noella was served divorce papers. Girl, this right here was so messed up to me. This woman received divorce papers from Puerto Rico. And it's like, why are you giving me divorce papers from Puerto Rico and you ain't even from Puerto Rico and I can't even read it. I got to go and get the maid or whoever else in here to read it for us. Or for me, because I don't know what the hell going on. And then for him to be nowhere found out at the house, she can't get in touch with this man. He done shut down the credit cards. I said, no, he did not shut down this lady credit cards, knowing this woman has y'all autistic son at the house. Girl, that was some shady boots there. And because of that, see, I would have to be vindictive at this point. Since you want this divorce, I'm going to give you what it is, especially if I did not file a prenup. Baby, I'm finna eat your stuff. And then your child got I feel like that's like a special need. I'm not sure how that really pans out as far as a child being autistic, but it's like, I'm really finna eat your stuff in child support. Okay? Spousal, all of that. You know, cut off my motherfucking credit card, sir. And we used to relying on your salary. Oh, yeah, you're finna be paying for some things for another year until my salary from Real Housewives of wherever kicks in. Because I'm on your head top at this point. So I feel like that was so messed up. And I also feel like the way that he left her without a concern in the world for her and her child makes me feel like he's not even going to be there for that little boy. I really believe that. Having to deal with him being, autistic, having to deal with the other financial burdens and stuff that he got going on, that man is trying to escape all of that. No. It's a mess. So later on, we can see where Gina and Shannon link up, and Gina tells her about Noella and how she has been so happy. And she tells her about Noella and the situation. And then Gina tells her, I feel like I'm at a place where I'm really happy and I've been through some things. So I feel like I'm at a place where I could give some advice and give some help to a friend or whatever, right? So Shannon made sure to let her know, like, girl, I know what you're saying ain't nothing. I'm already in the in crowd, honey. She's already told me. I talked to her too. Okay, so then she tells her about the FaceTime that Noella gave her between Noella and Shannon, and how she wanted to invite her out and she was open to come out. So I think eventually, they FaceTimed her and Miss Girl decided to come. Noella looked, when she arrived, she looked stressed the fuck out. I was glad she got out the house instead of sitting in the house with her thoughts. But at the same time, I felt like it's okay to take a break. You're going through a lot right now. It's okay to not have to be on the scene. But you know, sometimes when people going through stuff, you have some people that have to be around others, and you have other people that feel like they just got to isolate themselves because they're going through a lot. What else we got? So Gina says that she doesn't want to fight with Shannon when it comes to the conversation about Heather. Shannon lets her know that she thought they were friends who had each other's back. And Gina says that she didn't mean to hurt her or anyone. And then that's when Gina goes into the spiel about the whole barbecue and her going to the side chick barbecue, and everybody knew that she was getting cheated on. But Shannon wasn't trying to hear that, because Shannon was like, girl, I've been in the same situation where somebody cheated on me and everybody knew. So, okay, your point. Shannon says she goes out of the way to be kind to Gina. And Gina says you don't have to go out of the way to be kind. If you're a kind person, just be kind. I felt like a little bit, Gina, you were nitpicking every single thing that Shannon was saying because you have an issue. Okay. I guess based on what you guys have been through in the past, maybe she is going out of her way to be kind and actually start a friendship with you. So I wasn't really following that. Her husband might have another family in Puerto Rico. Lisa, I thought the same thing when she said she could not understand why he was so focused on holding on to that home in Puerto Rico. I was wondering that. So Keisha says she knew. She went on a tour exposing his money issues and then acted as if she was oblivious to her trying to separate herself from the finances. She is green, but not green as grass. And you're speaking on what's that lady name? Noella knowing about the issues with her husband and being out here speaking about it, and then trying to act like, I guess, trying to separate herself from what's going on. Where else am I? Yeah, Gina says you don't go out your way to be kind or whatever. I felt like Gina was doing too much with Shannon. Gina says, why tell Heather you can't trust us, but you tell us the info? I was like, girl, you got a point there. Now, why would she do that? Tell America, because we would love to know. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That made no sense. And Shannon says she wanted to believe they were her friends. It's like, Shannon, cut this shit, girl. Cut the SHI. Gina says, but you still talked about us behind our back. And then Shannon says, well, listen, I'm an asshole, okay? That's the short answer, girl. If you really want to know, I'm an asshole and I made a mistake. Okay, so let's move on. And Gina goes on to let her know, like, girl, I really do care about you. Like, at the end of the day, I care about you. I still want to continue to be, you know, friends or get to a better place with her. Then we have Noella. Noella arrives, like I said, looking stressed the fuck out, okay, down to the ground. But, you know, all was well. I already told y'all how I didn't like the fact that he cut off her credit cards. I just felt like that was messed up, disrespectful, wholeheartedly didn't like it. She couldn't understand why he has a home in, hold on. Oh, so I guess he has a home in Utah as well. And she said she couldn't understand why he had to have a home in Utah when he doesn't have a family in Utah. But then the same thing will go for Puerto Rico. So I don't know. This man is out here scheming and stuff. I don't know, girl. You may be glad to have cut your losses from this fool, but you act so ditzy a bit that I feel like he probably got over on you a lot and probably had to cut them credit cards off from you so that he can make them active for somebody else. Yikes, Miss Ma'am. Gina and the other one, they are boring and they need to stir the mess. You talking about Emily? Child. Shannon was being two-faced, that's all. Gina could be mad about the small house comment Shannon made last year. So Noella so Noella wasn't stashing cash. I don't think so. Knowing his money was funny. Let me go watch this foolishness. That's what I'm confused about. Like, why was you not stashing, period? But I'm telling y'all, Noella does come off as ditzy. Thank you so much, Rose. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Episode 2, and we have a divorce scandal, and it's her first season. Right. I think Noella and her husband knew they were going to divorce and decided to save it for the cameras. Possibly. That could be one. I feel like he probably didn't want her to do this show. But as soon as wind got out that she was doing this show, some tea started to drop on him. And he really divorced her because he didn't want to have his business out there in the streets or whatever. But that's all that I have, guys, for this Real Housewives of Orange County. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off, get myself together so that I can get ready to do Selling Tampa. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. It's on Netflix. So hopefully you guys have gotten a chance to watch it, and we'll review episodes 1 and 2. Because I think, I watched episode 1 and 2, so we'll talk about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I thank you guys so much for hopping on. Please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. So thank you so much. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at jamithatsme, and see you in a bit. Bye.